put it. Do you have a moment when, because that seems like a big, like you said, gut punch and disappointment for who you thought he was as a spiritual leader and as a person. Do you remember a moment that you really thought, oh, he's gone to the dark side, to use more like a Star Wars term, like he's
Yeah,
turning into an evil person?
I wouldn't label him as
Sure.
evil, but the book, in the preface of the book, I point out very strongly that it's a transitional book. It's almost two books in one. It started off being just a story of the funny, anecdotal, quirky assignments I would get from Pat, or the way he'd behave, or some of the idiosyncrasies. And then all of a sudden, politics came into it, and boy, did he go off the rails. And now let me ask you this. Let me ask you let's play. What is it? The Socratic method. I asked you a question. Would you think that Pat Robertson, probably the most controversial televangelist in America at the time, would be a good business partner for a guy named Mobutu Sese Seko, who was the president of Zaire, who had butchered and killed thousands of his own people and was corrupt as the day is long and was pirating millions and millions from his own treasury? Would you think that they would be ideal business
What?
partners?
Go on. Go on.
Okay. Okay. This is why I'm taking so much heat from the Christian CBN community, because I believe in telling the truth, and these are all verifiable. You can
Yeah.
Google them. When Pat got back from politics and saw what that little decision had done, his absence from the 700 Club, because he had to step down because of fair use, or fair
Right.
time. He couldn't be using that as a platform anymore, so he stepped off TV for a while. He came back and he saw what the absence had done to the ministry. It devastated it. And he had this epiphany. And he thought, gosh, I'm going to die someday, and I want my little kingdom to continue on and on and on. I got to do something. I got to set up some legacy fundraising mechanism, because when I go, I want it to continue. I want it to flourish. We traveled to Kinshasa, Zaire. It's a cool trip because we got to fly over on the Concorde back in
Very
the
cool.
day. We flew to Paris, and we flew on a private jet owned by the president of Zaire, a guy named Mobutu Sese Seko, and kind of a goofy looking rascal. He's, big horn rimmed glasses and a leopard fez, if you Google him. Anyway, the guy was a butcher. The CIA had put him in charge of Zaire back in the day to quell a lot of riots. Tribal warfare and stuff was going on. Guy was a crook. Guy was a
Right.
butcher. He gets a hold of Pat. Apparently, Mobutu needed some good PR. He wanted to improve his image, so he figures, well, I'll reach out to some of these televangelists in America, and if I get a photo op or two with them, people think I'm an all right guy. So he reaches out to a couple. Most of them had foresight to say, "No way
Right.
in hell am I going to stand next to you. You're a murderer." Not Pat. So we flew over to Zaire. We had a small entourage of people, and we met with Mobutu, and we took a little sojourn out to the countryside. They gave us a nickel tour of the place, and there were diamonds laying on the ground in some of these little villages, little piles of industrial grade diamonds, but they were diamonds nonetheless. And we asked, where are these little stones? Oh, those are diamonds. What are they doing? Well, they're in the dirt on the floors of these huts that people are living in. They don't like stepping on them, so they just scrape them up and put them by the side of the door.
What?
So there's diamond. Zaire, I was amazed. I did some research on Zaire back in those days. I don't know where it is now, but it was a really rich country as far as natural resources. I mean, they had 3 growing climates a year, hardwood, diamonds, gold. I mean, Shangri-La for
Right.
entrepreneurs. And Pat realized that. So fast forward, Pat cuts a deal with Mobutu to start a diamond mining business in Zaire.